excited.
How about this one? Red, yellow.
When we first met, we actually were nice friends.
Right from the first time.
Yep.
Yep. Well, I think the great thing is that Big Brother, Big Sister did a great job matching us up. The
It was
caseworker.
a really good idea.
Yeah. I think the biggest surprise for me is how easy it's been. Anybody I talked to was pretty clear that don't put a lot of pressure on making every time you get together a big event. Just hang out.
When they say don't put too much pressure on it, I think they have that right.
Food choices.
Pizza or pizza?
Pizza or an orange?
Give me the pizza. My dad's in jail. And my grandpa died. So mostly all I have is my mom, my sister, and this big guy I'm hanging out with right now.
I've always wanted to have a big sister or a little sister because I have two older brothers. One's 21, I think, now.
It's great to have another female companion in my life that I can experience things with. If she were to move far away, I would be heartbroken. There'd be a huge void in my life without Brianna here.
I became a mentor this last summer after a couple of months of going through the process. I wish I had done it a long time ago. I get more from my little than I think he gets from me. My little Austin is 8 years old, and when I go out with him, I suddenly see the world through the eyes of an 8-year-old again.
Perfect. Right down the middle, buddy.
So you can say, balloon, room, do those rhyme? And kids can recognize that. So you can point out rhyming words, you can point out pictures.
So difficult to parent and then to be a single parent and to do it when you're a teenager. Yeah, I think the program saves them from the isolation of being a single parent.
They're getting the same Cheerios, so it's the same.
Yeah, I always buy store brand because it's no different.
They really blossom as parents and as young women at the same time that they're dealing with very difficult and challenging issues.
I learned in this Young Moms group that it's okay to mess up when you're a parent, that parents do make mistakes, and you just have to try.
I've really watched her grow into her own capacity to be a good mom and to be a strong woman. All you have to do is see Caitlin to know, because she's such a happy, affectionate, bright little girl.
What are they doing? What's he doing? Clapping his hands.
I love Elaine. She is, I could talk to her, I could call her, she understands.
Caitlin has just really matured, and so has her mom, in such a way that it's clear that they're both thriving, and that just makes me really happy.
It's both hands.
It's a red hand.
Red hands.
Yeah. Often people, I think, forget the connections that, we're not talking just about one woman and her baby. We're talking about sort of two generations, really, within our own community, and what kind of quality of life they're going to have, and therefore what kind of quality of life they're going to bring back to the community.
Friday, Saturday.
All right, so this is your rent, and so this is your moving in cost at this point is going to be 1150.
Okay, so I'm standing here in front of my house, and I am so excited. I get to show people my hard work and how it's paying off.
I'm really proud of Jen. I think she absolutely deserves this. She's jumped in a year from no job to having a job to working towards an education.
So you're giving me shepherd's pie and hot dogs? Oh, I'm so spoiled. I've been living with my dad, and it's very hard. He doesn't have a job. It's only a 1-bedroom apartment, and he sleeps on the couch and I sleep in the bedroom. And being 20 years old and knowing that here in 4 days I'll be moving into my own apartment is the greatest feeling ever.
Groceries and eating out. And this is until your next paycheck, remember that.
I'm just resting, like I'm a little stressed out because I already had.
No, I mean, well, you know, you're making a huge transition right now.
Rustin was very helpful. He has stuck by my side. I've made a lot of mistakes. He's still supported me and still, you know, said to me, Jen, everybody makes mistakes. You know, without youth services or my case manager, I would probably be homeless, honestly.
The issue of homelessness is actually a fairly significant problem in this area. Because we live in a rural environment, those problems tend to be largely hidden, but we have a large number of clients who are couch surfing or staying in very unsafe situations, living in their car, having to stay at the overflow shelter. I think a lot of people in the community are not aware of the problem, but it definitely very much exists.
So you're going to call Brattleboro Housing? Yep. Do you know what you're going to say? I'm going to say, hi, my name is Katerina Reno. I was just calling to see if you guys had any openings at Moorcourt or Ledgewood. Well, when I first met Danielle, I just had my son, and I was living on the couch at my dad's and bouncing back and forth from living at my dad's and my mom's and back to my dad's. So it was really hard. I live at Wyndham Housing Trust right now. It's okay. Okay, thank you.
Now see, that's a prime example right there. You don't like to call, you feel nervous about it, and you did beautifully.
She was very spunky and feisty and just had this great energy about her. I don't think she fully recognized how dire her own situation was at times. So since that time, she has moved into her own apartment. She has gotten her license. She was able to graduate from high school, and she is now working as a peer outreach worker with Youth Services.
Are you behave?
Well, that is a tricky one.
I have seen Katerina run groups at the drop-in. She's a great advocate for her peers and a great support to the young people who attend there.
Peer outreach workers are a very helpful thing to have in Wyndham County. It's very important that the information you do get about these programs, like Youth Services, comes directly from a youth. And they'll really take that to heart because they'll have someone their own age who's either seen it or experienced it.
The drop-in night in Brattleboro, open to all youth ages 15 and up. People come in and they can get free food, and it's just a great draw for teens who might not otherwise talk to a youth services rep. Being homeless and being hungry in Brattleboro is kind of a high-risk thing. There's a very large drug and alcohol scene. With youth services involved, kids can get good jobs and a steady, warm place to sleep.
When a client is successful and really starts to understand their own value, there's such power in that. I guess ultimately I just feel so privileged to be able to do this work because every single day I feel like I get to make a difference in somebody's life. Sorry.
I'm going to pull together a meeting in the high school to make sure that everybody knows who you are and what your goals are, and to find out who
You know, I think the thing that's so exciting about youth services is that we really are in relationship with young people and their families, and we're there for the long haul, whether they're acting well or not acting well, if things are going smoothly or we're in a crisis. We are there for them.
When I come to visit you, we're going to walk together. Once your doctor says it's okay.
Yeah.
I think that's a really nice way to see you.
That's what you've done for me during this time, is you've taught me that I'm important.
If Jane hadn't gotten involved with our family, we would definitely be unhappy. We would be at each other's throats, maybe literally.
It's interesting being in Wyndham County and being in Vermont and knowing that we have really serious rural poverty. It's just not okay that someone has to choose between electricity and food. Just like I grew up thinking I'm obviously going to go to college, we have kids right here in our community who grow up thinking I'll probably end up in jail.
Hey Rick, you got a second?
Yes.
This has a little curl right here. I work here at Chroma. I'm the sandblaster, and I sandblast jigs.
You know, I was a
I was a troubled youth, and so I really embraced the program. Growing up for me, work was a place where I got a lot of confidence, understanding, support. Let's put it in the review.
These are kids who we really want to encourage to stay in school and to really consider what career they want to pursue and not just sort of fall into a job or fall into unemployment or underemployment as maybe people in their family have done, but really inspire them and open up their worlds.
You know, you watch kids and you can see them start to go down the wrong path. And you try to get involved early, even before it becomes criminal, even before someone makes a complaint. That's what good police officers do. If I can work with an organization such as Youth Services and keep kids out of that system, then it's a win-win.
We've been talking about your case a little bit. We have it right up here, but usually the first thing we do is ask you to tell us what happened in your own words.
We were supposedly going out to the movies when we got the alcohol.
I'd say that the philosophy of court diversion is giving a person who has committed a crime the opportunity to learn something that will help them not do it again.
To apologize to my friends for getting them in trouble also.
Not all of them are going to take the opportunity, but a large number of them do.
You really wish that it hadn't happened and that you certainly hope in the future.
When we make an arrest, we missed an opportunity. And I think that's even more true, particularly of teenagers. Somewhere along the line, we missed an interaction or we missed an opportunity to get them into a service, and that's where Youth Services is.
I think one of the biggest stresses right now for Youth Services is that we have more need in our community, we have more families who are under an enormous amount of stress, and we have less resources. When I say we, I mean the big we. You know, the schools have less resources, the police. And so we have to get very creative about how to collaborate in order to meet this really huge challenge that's in front of us right now.
I think the strength of a community can be measured in ways we engage our young people. And I think the ones who had difficulty engaging Youth Services filled that void for them.
The Youth Services staff just blow me away with their dedication to making a difference in a kid's life.
If I had a dime for every referral I made to Youth Services in the 28 years that I was a counselor at BAMS, I'd be a millionaire.
To me, their help and everything that they've done, I can't even say in words. I know that once I've moved on, I'm going to be able to do all this stuff by myself. And I have Youth Services in Ruston to thank for that.
Everybody needs one person, at least one person in their lives that believes in them and that advocates for them and that pushes them a little bit to do the best that they can do. And what would happen to our community if Youth Services wasn't doing that?
You would have a much higher rate of homelessness, teen pregnancy, crime.
Our job would be tougher, and we'd have to have more officers because I think we would end up, I know we would end up with more adult offenders that we would have to interact with.
The thing that's really hard about being a part of Youth Services is that we are dealing with real human beings who you know you can help, who you know deserve our help, deserve our best. So if we're not here, we meaning the donors, the volunteers, the staff people, all the things that come together that make Youth Services happen, we're talking about people that I care deeply about just crashing and burning and not having anybody there. It's not okay. This is not okay. It's not Vermont. It's not I don't think it's who we see ourselves being in Windham County.